Gotta go with Ilia, man. He's untouchable. I haven't seen anybody get close enough to him to sway me any other way. Gaethje's tough, and he's down for the fight, but that's actually a problem. If you put that in front of Ilia, he's gonna capitalize on those holes and put his fist through your chin. So, yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards Ilia.
Ilia slimes him out, man. Ilia's gonna catch him. Ilia's gonna put Gaethje right where he wants him, and I think Gaethje's gonna oblige in the trading with punches and stuff. And I think that's right up Ilia's wheelhouse. I think Ilia's gonna put him down and put him down bad, unfortunately.
I mean, unless Justin Gaethje can like sneak a gun in there, no, I don't think he has a chance.
These were stylistic fights. But first of all, let's just talk about that main event. Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. Of course, this is the fight that we all knew, we all kind of wanted. And Henry, we talked about this before. Justin Gaethje was always on this card. If there was one guy that you stamped as the guy that should be on this card, it's Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje is as American as it is. The guy that delivers the whole time, that delivers every time, is willing to really throw his safety out of the window to go out there and entertain. That's the guy that you put on the marquee, of course. And so Justin Gaethje was always on this card. I think the holdup kind of was, well, we want to see what's going on with Ilia Topuria. Is he going to vacate? Is he going up? Would he fight Islam? Or do we see what's going on with Shu? I think this potential showdown this last weekend, Max or Oliveira, do we see how that turns out, how that plays out? Or Armin. So I think there was a lot of things in play here, but Henry, it is what it is. We have our main event, and I think it's a banging main event.
All the pressure here is on Ilia Topuria. The odds say it. A lot of people just expect him to go out there and execute Justin Gaethje on the White House lawn. But if he does lose here, just how much of a blow do you think this is to him, his legacy, what he's been building?
Well, in the sense of becoming a superstar, it would be really bad for the following reason. Okay, how big of a star is Topuria right now? Actually, not quite that big. At least not stateside. Now, in Europe and in Spain specifically, very different. They're a very different scenario. But here domestically, and obviously I cannot speak for Australia, but here domestically, he's still very much an insider's kind of sports hero. Is the way I would put it. And this would be good for him, right? Because now you're on the White House card. And if it does do a big number and you win, this is your potential star-making moment. So what I'm trying to point out is he's not a star yet. This event could really do a lot of good towards pushing him.
Ilia Topuria has already begun preparing himself for the next challenge he faces, which will be a very risky matchup indeed. He will be fighting against Justin Gaethje at the White House event, and according to some predictions, it will definitely turn into chaos. The reason for that is Gaethje's ability to apply pressure and power, whereas Topuria has proved himself as a great fighter recently. Let us see what the UFC experts think about this particular matchup.
He's building his star, building his profile, and maybe setting up some massive fights down the line. You never know. Ilia Topuria might be the first guy from the UFC to cross over into Zuffa boxing, right? I don't think that would be a bad idea for Dana White to promote one of these fights if he can get through Justin Gaethje. But the power that he has, it's probably likely that he does, okay? Because being reckless, turning it into a dogfight against someone that can wrestle, someone that's got great jiu-jitsu like Ilia Topuria, and then also someone that has that one punch, knockout power that is precise. We're not talking to Derek Lewis here. Derek Lewis, who, by the way, he's fighting Josh Holkett on the undercard. That's going to be an insane fight, okay? But Derek Lewis, he's had some good knockouts where he's timed it, like against Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades was lucky to shoot in. He was level changing. He was doing this. And then Derek just knew. He knew he was going to shoot. He waited, boom, uppercut. And that was it. That's all she wrote. But a lot of time, it's swinging and you connect with it. That's not the way Ilia performs. He's surgical. He's precise. He sees the target. He sees the opening. He sets the trap. He uses the feints. And then he fires it, he lands it, and then detonates the head.
According to Joe Rogan, Gaethje is equipped with everything required to fight Topuria. Rogan explained how Ilia is very heavy-legged, meaning that he carries much of his weight on the lead leg, whereas Gaethje is one of the best leg kickers in MMA. In addition, Rogan explained how Justin is a big threat due to his uppercut, size, and wrestling abilities. Moreover, Rogan explained that Justin Gaethje is naturally more physically built than Topuria and had never come close to making the featherweight division.
You know, I asked DC and Dustin both yesterday on my show. Why do you think people were overlooking Justin?
That's a good question. I mean,
when I look at Gaethje, I'm like, he's got all the tools and the weapons. Ilia Topuria is heavy on the lead leg. Justin Gaethje's got a heavy leg kick. He's got a great uppercut. He's fighting the shorter fighter in Ilia Topuria.
He's a bigger guy.
He's a way bigger guy.
He's not making 145 ever.
No.
He's a much bigger guy. He's a really good wrestler, and he's a nasty striker, and he's also a kind of a fucking savage. Like he's
not kind of.
Yeah, I mean, like a
Totally.
real savage, not like pretending. Like when he fought Michael Johnson in his UFC debut, he just threw himself at Michael Johnson, and he did the same thing with Paddy Pimblett.
Yeah,
the Paddy Pimblett fight, he could have fought that fight a lot cleaner.
Yep.
And he just said, "Fuck you! I'm just gonna walk you down and just blast you every chance I get and break you up." And that's what he did. And he's a fucking scary dude, man. Justin's a scary dude. When he's on, and this is the last dance, right? So you know that he's going to be hyper-focused for this fight.
I just can't see why people are overlooking him. Like, they just look at him, they're like, oh, he doesn't have a chance, he's going to get knocked out. I think they're taking away from
Ilia
what...
is so good.
Because Ilia has done it too.
Meanwhile, Rogan also explained what makes Topuria such a hype in today's world. He recognized that Ilia had been defeating some of the best fighters in succession like Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, and Charles Oliveira. That, according to Rogan, was crazy, and he understood why beating these champion-level fighters 3 times in a row certainly deserves a lot of credit. Many people have chosen Topuria simply because very few fighters have managed a streak like this one before. Still, Rogan also noted that perhaps there was a little more to each victory than meets the eye.
Everybody.
All these guys that are also really good.
Got
And
3
he has
all-time
destroyed them.
greats.
Yes,
KOs
in a row. In a row.
3 in a
but
row.
let me-
is
let me-
nuts.
Max
So-
Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski, and fucking Bronx, fucking Charles
Crazy.
Oliveira. That's
Crazy.
crazy.
3 KOs.
Yes.
Crazy.
I don't hold it against him, but
And
I
how
also,
fast?
is it kind of somewhat, is there an asterisk next to it a little bit? Because Volkanovski coming off the head kick knockout
Yes.
loss.
There's a little bit of that.
Max Holloway cutting from 55 to 45 after putting all the weight on, then getting knocked out. The only one I would say no is Charles, because he goes up, fights Charles. Charles, you know.
Charles,
That's the only
no.
one.
Max Holloway, yes, because he cut the weight, but that was his decision.
That's right.
And no one should have let Volkanovski take that fight. You got head kicked 4 months ago into a coma. There's no fucking chance you should be taking a fight with the scariest puncher in the division.
Is that a coach's corner family decision?
It's
What do you
him.
think?
He's an animal.
Eric McConico did not make a firm prediction for the Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje fight, choosing instead to stay neutral because of how unpredictable elite MMA matchups can be. He pointed out that when 2 high-level fighters step into the cage with 4-ounce gloves, anything can happen. Rather than confidently picking a winner, he respected both athletes and acknowledged that the smallest mistake could completely change the outcome. At the same time, McConico admitted that Ilia Topuria's recent performances made him impossible to ignore. He noted that Topuria had been knocking out opponent after opponent and had been building serious momentum heading into the matchup. Even though he reminded everyone that Justin Gaethje was still Justin Gaethje and always dangerous, he suggested that Topuria's current run deserved respect.
I mean, I go by, look, Ilia Topuria's been knocking out a lot of people, bro. So, I mean, it is what it is, but at the same time, Justin Gaethje is Justin Gaethje. So it's you know, I'm not really a picker on choosing on who will win or fight. When it's those high-level fights, you know, it's like it's 4-ounce gloves. But I mean, Ilia Topuria has been doing what he's been doing.
Luke Thomas made it clear that he sees Topuria as being on a completely different level of danger compared to most fighters Gaethje has faced. While acknowledging Justin's heavy hands and experience, he described Ilia as ultra dangerous and suggested that simply relying on power won't be enough. That's why he understands Gaethje's decision to stir things up before the fight, even if the impact of those mind games may ultimately be limited.
You need to rattle that guy, because if he's calm and he's in control, you know, yes, mistakes are made. Justin punches hard. He's very talented, even at his advanced relative age. Like, sure, he's dangerous. I don't think anyone thinks otherwise. Nobody in their right mind anyway. But Topuria is like ultra dangerous, like a completely different level of dangerous. And so, you know, we saw this with Sean, and we talked about it here, I think previously with Sean and Hamzat, where they're just, you know, at first, I think we all thought that Sean was trying to get into Hamzat's head, and then they had the presser, and then it just, you know, turned into a free-for-all at that point. But you know, you get the idea. Like, there was some kind of concerted effort to maybe derail this guy. You know, the funny part about it is, like, how, you know, what a pre-fight comic can do this, man. You know this too, Dennis. You've been covering the sport long enough. Dude, these guys live and die in their own minds. And they have to be very careful for that reason sometimes about what they listen to and what they don't, and when and how much.
Thomas also warned that allowing Topuria to back opponents toward the fence is one of the biggest mistakes anyone can make against him. He pointed to several of Ilia's biggest finishes as examples of how dangerous he becomes once he starts cutting off the cage. Because of that, Gaethje must apply his own pressure, attack the body, and keep Topuria moving backward if he wants any realistic chance of pulling off the upset. John Giannis admits that picking between Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje is difficult because he is simply a fan who wants to enjoy the fight. He says the matchup should be exciting to watch and praises Topuria's boxing skills, making it clear that he respects what Ilia brings into the cage. However, with the event representing the USA, he finds it hard to go against Gaethje and feels naturally drawn to support the American fighter. Even though Giannis acknowledges Topuria's talent, he refuses to count Justin Gaethje out. He describes Gaethje as a true dog who is always willing to stand and trade, making him dangerous against anyone. Because of that mentality and his loyalty to the American side, Giannis ultimately backs Gaethje to come out on top. Demetrius Johnson made it clear that he is extremely high on Ilia Topuria heading into the fight with Justin Gaethje. Looking back at Topuria's win over Charles Oliveira, Johnson praised his all-around skill set and described him as one of the most complete fighters in mixed martial arts today. According to him, Topuria always knows exactly where he needs to position himself to find the knockout, whether he's facing Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira, or now Justin Gaethje. That confidence and fight IQ make him a dangerous challenge for anyone in the division. Looking ahead to the Gaethje fight, Johnson predicted that one of the biggest storylines will be how Topuria navigates Justin's power side and whether he continues using the same aggressive movement patterns. He reminded viewers that Gaethje has been knocked out before and absorbs a lot of punishment during fights, while Topuria has never been afraid to take a shot if it means landing one of his own. Based on that combination of confidence, accuracy, and finishing instinct, Johnson believes Ilia will eventually find the position he needs to score another knockout. When asked directly who Arman Tsarukyan thinks will win between Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje, Tsarukyan gave a simple but honest assessment. He said he believes Topuria will win, though he made sure to show respect to Gaethje's accomplishments. Arman described Justin as an OG of the sport and pointed out that people have doubted him before, only for Gaethje to prove them wrong inside the octagon. Because of that history, Tsarukyan wasn't willing to completely dismiss the former interim champion's chances. Tsarukyan also revealed that he is closely watching the outcome because it could directly affect his own future. He explained that if Topuria wins, Ilia could try to move up and chase a bigger fight. However, Arman believes many fans would rather see him fight Topuria at lightweight. He even suggested that a loss to him at 155 pounds could be more damaging to Topuria's position than moving up and losing in a title fight against Islam Makhachev, which is one reason he thinks Ilia might eventually consider leaving the division if given the opportunity. However, Ilia Topuria is already starting to prepare for the upcoming match with Justin Gaethje. While the bout is scheduled for much later, Topuria is already getting back into training camp mode to get prepared for a Gaethje-style fight. This bout will clearly prove what kind of exciting main event we might be looking forward to watching. Topuria is approaching this matchup with all the momentum behind him, whereas Gaethje is known for not taking any boring fights to the ring. It is clear that two fighters who have proved their ability to finish their opponents might produce such a match that everyone would be talking about even months from now. Tell us who you think wins here.